I may have set her side up to be far too cold. Thought I'd lost it. I would be getting the 8 Sleep and the pillow covers before buying anything that's in my home gym. So I've just spent well over £1,000 on the 8 Sleep pillow covers. No influencer privileges, and just like our 8 Sleep pod cover, they weren't sent to me. I paid for it with my own cold hard cash. Now, I don't feel mad, however, I'm not ruling it out. Here are my reasons for buying it. The first is that since buying our first 8 Sleep pod cover 2.5 years ago, our sleep has been revolutionized. I was very much a 6 out of 10 sleeper, so neither really good or really bad, but certainly lots of room for improvement. And if you look at my sleep data from 8 Sleep for the last year, you can see I've got a sleep score of 87 out of 100, which kind of reflects how I feel, like a 9 out of 10 sleeper now. Your goal is to be between the tram lines there, and I've made it every single month, and I'm very happy about that. My wife is a similar situation. Her sleep score for last year is 85 out of 100, which is such an improvement from where she was before. She would very much describe herself as a 2 out of 10 sleeper. So to go from like a 20% sleeper to an 85% sleeper, she is over the moon. And as her husband, I can attest that one of the best ways to torture somebody is to deprive them of sleep. It really does have such an impact on your mental well-being, and we're both over the moon that she gets the most amazing sleep these days. However, it's easy to be suspicious if you're getting the data from 8 Sleep. After all, it very much seems like they're marking their own homework, and who polices the police? Well, obviously it's the police. However, I can corroborate my sleep data with my Whoop. So if you were a Whoop, you can do the same. And if I look at last night's sleep, for instance, my 8 Sleep gave me a sleep score of 97, and that was actually lower than what my Whoop gave me. My Whoop gave me a 99 sleep score and a green recovery. The night before, it was 95 from 8 Sleep and a 100, that coveted 100 sleep score. If you're a Whoop user, you will know how hard it is to get a 100 sleep score and a green recovery again. The night before, Saturday over to Sunday, we weren't at home, so there's no sleep data from the 8 Sleep. It was in away mode, but I did get the data from my Whoop, and you can see that even though we had the most comfortable bed, a lovely air-conditioned hotel room, my sleep score dropped to 83%, which is actually pretty good for when I'm away from the 8 Sleep. But my recovery was just moderate, and I was a little bit there for the rest of the next day. And this is actually typical when I'm away from the 8 Sleep. It does make it harder to go away because you immediately know you're not going to get as good a sleep no matter where you are than you get when you're at home in your own bed with the 8 Sleep pod cover on it. So our sleep is great. I'm a long-term user. I'm completely sold. So why would I then add these pillow covers? Well, there's 2 reasons. So the first is that the 8 Sleep just works so well, as I've mentioned. You have a pod by your bed with some water in it. Then a small amount of water is sent around some piping that's on the mattress cover that goes on your mattress, and it cools and heats the mattress throughout the night to really hone in good quality sleep. Great quality sleep. Imagine the hottest day of the year, it's roasting hot, and you get into your bed and your bed is the same temperature as it would have been in the coldest day of the winter. Imagine how brilliant that feels, and that's essentially what you get with an 8 Sleep. And you can flip it as well. I asked my son what he likes about his 8 Sleep. He's got our old one, and his reply was that he actually prefers the warming function rather than the cooling function. It's also great for us because my wife likes to sleep warmer than I do, so we have the same mattress, the same duvet cover, yet the different sides of the beds are generally quite different in temperature. Mine's cooler and hers is warmer. And then throughout the night, autopilot makes adjustments, which helps you maximize your sleep. The alarm function is a feature that I didn't think was going to be a buying factor for me. However, there are 2 ways that it can wake you up. The first is my least favorite, where it just adjusts the temperature enough to bring you out of your sleep. It's quite a natural feeling and good for weekends because it can just bring you out at the right time in your sleep cycle. We prefer to get up at 6 o'clock every morning, and we use a vibration feature. So I don't like my phone waking me up. I don't like the waking me up. I like my 8 Sleep because it gently starts to vibrate me awake at 6 o'clock in the morning, and then I can just tap it on the side and turn the alarm off when I'm ready. You can also use the control on the side to adjust the temperature up and down as well. My biggest problem with 8 Sleep though, and something that I wish they would solve from the first day that I bought an 8 Sleep, is that there's no cooling underneath your pillow. So my idea was that if it could cool underneath your pillow, you could flip your pillow throughout the night just to always have that cool side waiting for you if you needed it. But they've got one better than that, and they've come out with the pillowcases. So this is actually a better idea because it means you don't have to flip the pillows, and it can work just like the mattress and cool you and warm you as you need throughout the night. However, it is quite an expensive solution. However, I'm hoping this is worth every penny, and you will find out in this video, because I'm one of those edge case users where I get heat rashes and I'm allergic to my own sweat. I bought myself some Apple headphones. They were brilliant. I wore them for an hour. I looked like this for 2 weeks afterwards. We checked out of hotel in Rhodes. Our flight was in the evening, and even though I was able to use the gym showers throughout the day, by the time I got off the plane, I had to get treatment for a heat rash that I'd managed to pick up. In our hotel room last Sunday, I talked about, I don't know how, but I must have overheated, and you might be able to see I've got the rash to show it. So I'm fingers crossed this solves that problem. And to quote Brad Pitt from the film Seven, what's in the box? So the packaging just feels like normal 8 Sleep quality, really well packed, and hopefully like the pod covers, designed for the end user and not just for transit. And on both boxes, there is a section that says open here. So if you buy these, just make sure that you open in the right place. And I'll put a link in the description if you are thinking about buying these, whether you're buying or browsing. It helps support the channel. So that will take you to a discounted link on 8 Sleep's website. And then when you check out, I will give you a coupon code. So whatever discount you get on the link, the coupon code will also add an additional discount. So they're stackable and save you some more money as well. That also helps support the channel. So thank you very much. Oh, so check this out. This is pretty cool. You've got pull tabs. I like that. For a single use, because you're never going to use that again, are you? That is really impressive. I like that. And here's the pod. Oh, I wish the pod had the pull tabs. There we are. So there's the pod, and that sits by the bed, and this is what controls the water flow throughout the pillowcases. And this pod looks identical to the one that comes with the mattress cover, so I think it probably is. You've got your 2 fans in there. There's the top fan, there's the lower fan. So having that double fan system means that it's a lot quieter when it's cooling than the previous generations. Power inlet, different side, and in and out for each pillowcase. You've got a USB socket there as well. So I feel like this looks very similar, if not the same, as the one that comes with the cover. And then in here, this is where you put your water, and then it goes around pillowcases. So in the box, you've got your cover for your pillow cover. Lovely little bag. I feel like I should keep these bags for something else. And then it just feels like the 8 Sleep, just really plush and lovely. You've got your pillow case that goes on your pillow. Oh, it just feels so nice. And then this leads to your pod, and this is quite a bit thinner than the mattress cover. But this does feel, oh, it feels gorgeous. Really nice. And there's actually a button there as well, so this might be for the alarm feature or to adjust the temperature, no doubt. Pillowcases on, that was nice and easy, and you do get generous hose length, and you get these tidies as well. So you've got this for cold and hot, and then you've got a cable tidy there as well. So this does mean 2 hubs though. We've got the hub there, which is for the cover, which is amazing. Now, although that fits in there nicely, I might end up just bringing it forward slightly because it does need a little bit of room around it to cool effectively, and I think that might be a little bit tight, but I can always adjust that later on if needed. This one over here has always had plenty of room. So this has been really easy to run the cable. So I just put it down the back of the mattress, basically under my bedside table, and then it comes out here ready to go into the hub. So that setup took about an hour. The main problems I had was I normally don't make the bed, so that took me a long time. And secondly, it took me a little while to connect to the Wi-Fi for some reason, but that was resolved. Then you fill it with water, and then you just go through the setup process. You need distilled water, ideally, so get a couple of litres of that before your pod arrives, or you can use tap water, but they recommend if you've got distilled, use that, but tap water is also fine. I'm gonna test drive this now for a few nights. And another thing, so these little tabs that I said meant kind of like hot or cold. This is for cold and hot, and then you've got a cable tidy there as well. It doesn't mean that. They are just to show you which pillow's yours. So you put one round where your pillow is, and then you kind of trace it round to the back of the unit, and you put the same color there. And that way, if you need to have a work on it, you know which pipe goes to which pillow. I don't think it's necessary, but it'd probably be helpful at some point. See you in a few nights.
A few moments later.
So no time has passed for you, but we are tested and most importantly, well rested. Did have a slight problem the first night because, and my wife and I talked about my stupidity and selfishness. I may have Bev set her side up to be far too cold. And you know, on those videos where the cat licks the ice cream when it gets a brain, just like the bed, you can adjust the temperatures throughout the night. And now hers is set up perfectly and she's very, very happy. I've made some notes though, because there are two downsides that I've found before I talk about the rest. The first downside is if you happen to accidentally dribble in the night on your pillow, then you can't really turn it over. You just have to move your head somewhere else on the pillow. That's a small thing. The second downside is the same actually with the 8 sleep. So with an 8 sleep, when you get up, you just leave and then it knows you're not there and it turns the 8 sleep off. This is a very good feature. You don't have to remember to turn it on or turn it off. It just knows. However, if you use the alarm function, when the alarm goes off, and having the vibration in the bed and the pillow is actually really quite cool. There's a button on the pillow, you press the button, turns the alarm off, but just as it does with the 8 sleep, if you have that as a standalone product, once you turn the alarm off, either by tapping the bed or using the button, it turns the 8 sleep off. And I think this is probably fine for most people, but I like to rotate my pillow and use it as a backrest, which you can still do, which is a really nice feature. You're not tied, you can just turn the pillow around and just sit with it behind you if you wanted to. My wife and I have a coffee, we watch the news, we have a little bit of a catch up before we start our day. So I have to remember to turn the bed back on and then turn it off again when I get out, which I'm not so keen on. But this isn't a pillow thing, this is an 8 sleep thing. And I'm sure it says, if you're watching 8 sleep, it's a tiny software update. Just change it so that you can have it so that when you turn the alarm off, it doesn't automatically turn the bed off as well. Okay, so let's talk about the plus sides, which really impressed me. One thing I was slightly worried about, because there's water going through the pipes in the pillow, is that I would hear it. You know, like sometimes you can hear your radiators if you have radiators. Couldn't hear a thing. And this is down for 2 reasons. The first reason is there's nothing to hear. So I don't know how they do it. It must be the way that they pressurize the water through the tubes, but there's no gurgling, there's no water moving sound at all. It is exceptional. And because I really like a cold pillow, putting my head on that ice cold pillow, I mean, I don't think I've ever fallen asleep so quick. This is every night I've tried it. Every night I've been straight off. It's been absolutely superb for that. I did notice that it does firm the pillow up very slightly. So when we had a pod 3, I would say that that made our bed about 10% firmer. With the pod 4 and the pod 5, you can't tell the difference. It just kind of adds a level of hotel plushness. With the pillow covers, I would estimate about 5% more firmness in your pillow. So that might be something for you to consider. Overall though, an absolutely amazing upgrade to the 8 sleep ecosystem. And if I was buying again, I would be buying both of these things at the same time, because the pillows, I mean, they're definitely as good as the mattress topper. I'm just wondering if the pillows are actually slightly better than the mattress topper. At least as good. So together, you've gone from something that's a 9 out of 10 product to absolutely a 10 out of 10 product. I can't recommend having the pillows with the 8 sleep mattress topper enough. It has just been superb. If you're an 8 sleep customer already, if you've already got an 8 sleep, you can go into your app and go to your 8 sleep members shop. As I mentioned, if you're not, I'll put a link in the description that will take you to 8 Sleep's website, where there'll be link is discounted pretty much always, and then I will put that coupon code there so you can stack my discount on top of whatever discount you're being offered when you go to the website. It really does help bring the cost down a little bit as well. So as you can see and hear, I'm over the moon. I'm really happy. This was the missing piece to 8 Sleep for me. No more hot head, no more waking up feeling like everything down here is great but slightly clammy around here. This has been an absolute game changer. And I would go as far as to say, this is my home gym. I love my home gym. I spent a lot of time here. If I was starting again, I would be getting the 8 Sleep and the pillow covers before buying anything that's in my home gym. That is step 1 for me. That's the foundation. If you follow Fight Sports, sleep is like your jab. Everything comes off your jab. If you don't follow Fight Sports, it's like a tall building. Sleep is the foundation of that tall building. So if you're on the fence and you've got the budget, there's no reason why you shouldn't just go for it. YouTube thinks that you will like this video here. I'll put my whole 8 Sleep playlist here. Until next time, see you soon.